Hello and welcome to Zelda Speedruns. Today we show you another match of the A Link to the Past Randomizer Challenge Cup of this year. We are in round 4 and the matchup is StructuralMike versus MalXantholos. I trained it before and got it wrong again. Commentators for the match will be Mayendiam and Skunkner. Say hello.
Hi there.
Good evening, everybody out there, if you are on the side of the pond that our runners are on, or good afternoon, or good whatever other time it might be for you. If you are catching this over on the eastern side of the world, welcome one and all to this matchup between StructuralMike and MalXantholos. I am Mayendiam, and I am joined in the booth today by none other than Skunkner. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm fine, and I hope we'll see a fine match right now. First race was yesterday. It was a really good race. So, could have gone either way, so I'm thrilled for this one.
Absolutely could have gone either way. 5 minutes was the deciding time, but it could have been much closer with just a couple of different decisions made by either of the runners. So hopefully we're going to get one that is every bit as entertaining today, and we should be underway here in the very near future.
Yeah, maybe one of them will decide to fake flipper to the hobo today.
That would have been a substantial game changer yesterday. Yeah. I wonder if that's on either of our runners' minds as they're getting ready to get underway in this seed today.
Yeah, hookshot was in hobo yesterday, so and go mode for both of them.
And Mal was the one who found it first. Mal was also the one who gained access to the knowledge of the pedestal just a little earlier yesterday, and those were the two things that allowed him to catch back up, and then eventually surpass Mike and take that win in game number 1. So Mike looking to even the series here as we get underway.
And we're starting with a single rupee. Great.
Bright and early, the seed telling you absolutely nothing. 499 left to Zora. So, I know you were in this tournament as well. How do you feel about the starting weapon? Do you have any particular favorites? Anything you don't want to see?
I'd like to see the bow, to be honest, or the fire rod, also the sword, but I think bombs are pretty awful.
Well, you have your wish. Here we have the fire rod start.
Yeah, your first fire source in the race, so that's not a problem anymore.
And we have the guards in the arrow pack. That means that both they and the snakes down in the dark are not going to be dropping bombs for our runners today.
Yeah, maybe the rats are more helpful in this regard.
Maybe the rats are, and I feel like lately in the past couple of weeks I've seen an awful lot of just, here's a 3-bomb pack in one of the chests in the escape sequence, so you're covered.
Yeah, nothing is more annoying than not finding bombs in this one, and in the worst case there are gloves on the back, so yeah. Does not feel good as a runner if you don't find bombs.
At least in the standard mode, the seed does say, well, you still have the light cone in the dark even after you've rescued the princess.
Yeah, but it's a long way to go there.
It is a long, slow trip. You are 100% correct on that. It does not feel so great.
But yeah, there are possibilities to find bombs, so hopefully they will find bombs. I don't like it when runners don't find bombs.
Well, we've already seen the map and the small key, so there are a couple of chances left in chests, and then that rat prize pack is still outstanding. Still a few more chances to try and find what we're looking for here in the escape.
Yeah, but they should be careful about their magic. They need one shot, at least one shot for the red with the key, so never mind, we've got a hammer, so
And suddenly in Zelda Cell, the problem of having a reusable weapon just goes away.
Yeah.
So while our runners are running back through this portion of the escape sequence, let's kind of recap the runners here a little bit. StructuralMike was the overall winner of Group N. He defeated Sloters 27 and Tigerton by 2-0 scores, and that made him the 10th overall seed for the bracket stage. MalXantholos was the overall winner of Group I, so we've got 2 overall winners of groups going head-to-head here. He defeated Dane 8373 2-0 and Little Miss Arcade 2-1 to become the number 26 seed. They moved on into these bracket stages. StructuralMike he beat me 2-0, and then he beat Arshap 2-0 in the round of 32. While MalXantholos defeated Jawsome Sauce 2-0 in the round of 64 and Tigerton 2-1 in the round of 32, and that's how they got here.
Yeah. The last series between MalXantholos and Tigerton was a great one. I was lucky enough to commentate all 3 of those races, and yeah, it was great, and could have been a win for Tigerton also. So just like yesterday in their first race.
By the time you get down to the round of 32, you don't have anybody left who you think, well, this is an easy out, and all of these series have been great. I've been enjoying these quite thoroughly.
Yeah. And the second rod, we've got the ice rod in Darkross. So there is no ice rod hunt in this series.
No ice rod hunt and also no bombs. StructuralMike finding out that the rats are in the rupee pool. And also that the frozen prize pack is the full magic decanter.
Yeah. But nice to see him remember this check. Also, MalXantholos is checking for the prize pack. So we won't have any bombs.
At the very least, we know that both of the runners are going to have that knowledge, and, they farmed far enough through these prize packs to know that their opponent was not going to find it as well, not going to feel too bad, not going to be the biggest fan of it if they have to run back into the back of Escape to check that later rather than finding a glove somewhere else, but at the very least, they both know that this was the situation their opponent was in as well.
Absolutely. Feels much, much better if you know your opponent did not find bombs.
Both of our runners raiding the poor box, finding a mushroom.
So our first fetch quest is on. And StructuralMike is going for it.
That's a really interesting choice. I wondered when he turned right there at first if he was just going to go ahead and set up a Houlihan, having only 11 rupees to his name so far, but no, it seems he wants to get that really early mushroom turn-in done.
Yeah. While MalXantholos is checking for the lumberjack check. So, and it's it's
okay,
the better,
that's kind of amusing, Seed.
The better mushroom.
Yes, the vanilla mushroom upgrade, the magic bag, sitting there on Lumberjack.
Oh, and StructuralMike did a save quit. He had to, but
well, he hadn't performed
mushroom
a saving.
Is gone, and if there is some progression on the powder, he has to do agony. Can't fake powder.
Yeah, he had not save and quit out of the sanctuary, so there was no way for him to set up a convenient save scum. The only way to do that would have been to redo the entire escape sequence, which, is basically like doing Aga Tower. Aga Tower is probably a little shorter. But while we were commentating over that, Mal found the moon pearl there growing in the mushroom spot.
Yeah, and did find some bombs, so he's safe for Kakariko. StructuralMike decided to go the south route.
When you have no bombs, that south route is really convenient. It's kind of a way to hedge against finding bombs in the village because you can just farm them on those 50-50 bushes south of the grove.
Yeah. And there is half magic on the race game. Convenient item. I think I'd grab it too, but
Especially this
there are
early
runners who
on.
would skip it, I think.
Well, when you already have the fire rod, rather than using the hammer for everything, particularly something like Mini Moldorm Cave, if you can go ahead and use the fire rod there instead with that half magic, it's not only a nice safety for the later game, but it's a convenient way to use one of your better weapons right now. Just a piece of heart there on the library on Mike's side. Unlikely to see either runner go back for that ever.
Yeah. Now we found our first male upgrade in the well, so
Nice to have
that's
a
nice
little
to
additional
have
safety.
early
Yeah,
on.
particularly when you're still sitting there on 3 hearts.
Yeah.
And it seems like our runners could have easily gambled bombs. Mal now sitting on a full stack of 10 here.
Yeah, so Kakariko is kinda empty. Nothing really interesting here, except of the blue mail, which is really nice to have, but not necessary for progression.
Yeah, it's just been a couple of quality of life upgrades in the village proper so far. That Moon Pearl was up in the forest.
Yeah.
So knowing what we know, South Shore feels like kind of the obvious next play, in only so far as we don't have a way into desert, we don't have any way up the mountain, and you kind of want to avoid that eastern play until you have a bow if you can.
Yeah, that's always a decision you have to make. Do you want to go to Eastern Palace without a bow? Can be a huge time loss, but could possibly be the game deciding move.
And we see Mal making the other choice here, not going to go ahead and take that half magic off of the race game, is going to be the first runner to start showing us the South Shore checks.
We've got enough money for Zora, and we've got the Moon Pearl. Maybe today they decide to fake flipper. We already talked about that one in the intro, so it is an option for both of them.
It is. Personally, I like to try and put off that big of a sequence break until I at least have the glove to have the Zor Lord himself in logic, but, you know, our runners having been a little bit burned on the on not fake flippering yesterday, I wonder if they might go ahead and bite the bullet on that anyway.
Yeah, it's the same thing I thought about. That's usually what I do. If I lose a race or something to something like that, next time I will adapt and just go for it, and then I'm disappointed.
Yeah, and then of course the rando says, no, that was the last game. Now your
Yeah.
progression's actually on the end of Laser Bridge.
Yeah. Just a classic.
Mal opting for those fire rod strats there in the mini Moldorm Cave, even without the half magic, plenty of magic to get it done, but we're 3 checks in and it hasn't paid out, 4 checks in and it still hasn't paid out, and that was just a whole lot of garbage.
Yeah. I think right now is the time where the runners think about back of escape.
Yep, what have I left behind there? Of course, also the possibility of something just being tucked away in Saha's closet.
Yeah, of course. But the glove and back of his cape would be a classic, so I wouldn't be surprised if we'll find it there.
At this point, we do seem to be heading in that direction, don't we?
Yeah. So Ice Rod Cave. We did find our bow, so Eastern Palace is clearable.
We do have that pointer towards eastern now. As long as the big key is not in its vanilla location, we would even be logical. We would need a lamp to go get that big key location. Logically, of course. But now, runners of this caliber, obviously, if they're in there and they're still looking for things, they're just going to go ahead and sequence break that dark room, and nobody's going to be surprised. But here we are, as you surmised, Mal is going to go ahead and fake flipper, and where is stop number one? It is going to be the hobo.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that Mal is doing that one. Right before the game, he told me that that hookshot location was just awful for him, so he wanted to sequence break that one. At least that's what I did read between the lines of what he said. So, not surprised.
Mike taking a quick hop into the water there, sees a boomerang on Hylia Island. Probably not going to be going back for that later unless he's a particular boomerang fan. I know plenty of runners tend to have a favorite one way or the other. Personally, mine is the iron one with the chain attached that allows you to not only stun enemies, but hook your way around the world. And Mike has found a flute in Sahasrarla's closet there. That'll do for a little logical mountain access, but it's just one check and one sight check, and, well, you can sequence break the save of the old man in the dark if you really want to.
Yeah, and we did find the Quake Medallion and the Zomaria in Waterfall of the Wishing, so we're getting nearer to that Fag Powder.
And that was an interesting item there on the Zora ledge.
Yeah, maybe we'll see the Splash Deletion, and it looks like did equip the bow, so
Has plenty of options for that with the Cane of Samaria, the bow, the bombs in inventory. And a few more bombs in inventory, some very expensive fireworks there from Zora.
it work. First try, nice.
Very cleanly done by Mal there, while Mike is about to make the second check in Eastern Palace and finds the mirror.
But it's a huge sequence break from Mal. Possibly 3 progression items with Quake, Zomaria, and the gloves, so it did pay off, but could also be kind of awful to keep track of your sequence breaks.
Well, he's going to go ahead and take it into the back of Escape here, and since it's still logical to go in from the front, he doesn't have to worry about the logical consequences here. But it is sequenced broken Dark World access for Mal at the 17-minute mark here.
Yeah.
Which may lead him a little away from that Saha's Closet in Eastern play, where Mike has already turned up a couple of really meaningful items in that flute and mirror.
Yeah, but he decides to go for Eastern too, so no worries in that regard. So I think it's the right decision. He's able to. He knows he did a huge sequence break. He knows he can finish Eastern Palace. It's a crystal, so why not going for it? Also, there is Sasha Sat, so why not?
It is something that I'm a fan of, being thorough, making sure that you actually clear out Sphere 1, because that's where the game is going to start giving you all of those pointers of where do I want you to go next as
Yeah.
far as the logic is concerned.
Absolutely. And that flute is huge, but StructuralMike did die in the dark room, so
That
doesn't
is
feel good, I
unfortunate.
think.
Now, 4 hearts going around in the dark here is not always the easiest thing to do. Even with the blue mail, it can be a little squirrely sometimes.
Yeah, especially without a sword, where you can't locate your sprite at all. So it's not easy. Let's say it that way.
A lot of runners will try and go to a backup strat, like maybe using the hammer to kick up some sprites to see roughly where you are, but it's not nearly as easy as the sword sparkles, which really follow you around all the time.
Yeah. I think it were the anti-fairies were its problem. So did lose a couple of hearts there for going into this room where he is searching for the small key, which he found.
Using the bow this time to make sure that he clears his path is safely through this time. So let's see what we have here in the Vanilla Big Key location.
A piece of heart. Great.
Not the kind of thing you're hoping to see, especially after you double down on making the check having taken a death there.
Yeah.
Now he's in the dark room that is more difficult if you have no fire at all, but as soon as you have something like the fire rod, you just light this brazier and then you can see.
Yeah, so he's going for Amos right now. Our first boss fight in this race, so let's see that one.
It always feels good to get that first crystal on the board, especially, you're right around 20 minutes. It's not the fastest time you might see, but when you had to go all the way over to Ice Rod Cave and then work your way over here, 21 minutes, not too bad.
Absolutely. Setting up for the quick kill. Looks clean. Yeah. Great job. First crystal for StructuralMike.
Taking a very temporary 1 crystal to none lead, I think that Mal is going to be hot on his heels here in the next minute and a half or so. We'll see what Mike's next play is after he activates this flute.
Yeah, I think we'll see him on the mountain. Especially with the mirror. They are both able to finish Tower of Error. Another crystal, so I think that it's the way they are going.
Not a crystal, but at least it is the green pendant.
Oh,
so
it's group pendant. Yeah, sorry.
3 rather than 2 items.
Yeah, Desert, which was the second crystal in that world.
And from Mike's perspective, he's still looking for a glove for Dark World access, so very clearly not going to be trying to go into any of the Dark World locations that maybe Mal is going to be looking at here in the near future.
Especially with the mirror in his inventory. Did not get the quick kill, but it was quick either way. So.
Yeah, he was a little overexcited, I think, and got the 2 Armos Knights on the right-hand side down, which kind of negates the quick kill positioning a little bit, but still cleaned it up nicely.
Yeah.
Mike, as expected, up on the mountain is not going to try and save the old man in the dark. The one death in that dark room there might have inclined him against trying to make that play at the moment.
Yeah. It's one of the easiest dark rooms, but without a sword, it's not nice to go there, because you really don't know where you are, and if you fall down anywhere, then it's all screwed up. We have red pendant on Skull, it's blue pendant on TR, and 5/6 on Mire and Ice.
A nice long map check from Mike there, so we can get all of the information.
I think it was a service to us. I'm pretty sure.
So Mike
Yeah.
in Hera, and MalXantholos is throwing away the remainder of his magic and is heading over towards Magic Bat with that mushroom still in inventory.
Yeah. And that's really interesting because StructuralMike does not have his mushroom anymore. Decides not go for Hera. Okay. Check
Yeah, he
first
saw the
location.
small key.
Yeah.
Saw the small key. Decided, nah, you know what? This is not where I want to be right at the moment.
Yeah. So what did we find on Magic Batter? I did not see that one. 10 arrows. Okay.
10 whole sticks.
Great.
And so Mal now going to gain a little additional advantage using the flute to come over here and turn that mushroom in. Going to find the shield. Probably not gonna snag it. It's Otter making a very good point in chat there. That would have been the perfect time for Mal to go ahead and grab that half magic off of the race game.
Yeah. Maybe he'll do it with the mirror when he's going for the south route, but I don't know. We'll see Hype Cave next. And Paradox Cave, obviously.
It'll be
Two
interesting
high
to see
density item checks on both sides.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see if the flippers turn up here, because we're starting to expect we've yet to see a sword, we've yet to see the lamp or the cape, so probably not Aga for Dark World access, so we're kind of thinking that maybe that glove that Mal sequence broke to is part of our logical Dark World access puzzle.
So, Hype Cave wasn't hype at all. And Paradox Cave was, yeah, also not that great.
Yeah, I have
Crazy.
gripes about both of those caves, neither of them paying out at all.
Yeah, and Kakariko was also really empty, so the high density areas are kind of empty. Wow.
Mike going to go ahead and pick up his checks at the dam now that he has that flute available, and probably Agina afterwards. He's starting to run a little low on locations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, while MalXantholos is able to walk through the Dark World.
And is heading in the direction of Skull Woods. Now, without a sword, he's not going to be able to get to the boss here, but it's a pendant anyway, so he probably doesn't care in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah. Yeah, but checking front of Skullwoods is always a good thing, I guess. Especially when there were so many locations which did not give you anything.
It's a relatively easy location to get to in the Dark World. You can kind of treat it like the Dark World equivalent of Sphere 1.
Yeah.
And Mike just finding another full heart container there, and Agina is slowly running out of possible locations here. Also seems to have turned a bottle up, however, so a small child check incoming. And the sick kid just donating the week's lunch money to the cause, like you do when the hero is trying to save the world.
Yeah, all of us, we have to do our part, saving the world, so that's his job. Giving money. We already did find one item in Skullwoods, so there's one left.
And it could be tucked all the way in the back, but we'll see pinball room first.
Yeah.
Seems that Mike is going to be forced into this Hera play after all, did not want to do it, but decided to nope out in favor of the Eastern Mountain, and now is going to go ahead and do the basement run because we have a vanilla big key on our hands today.
Yeah, it's so time consuming doing that, but if you have to do it.
Well, from Mike's perspective, logically here, he can run into the back of Escape for those 3 items. He can get the 2 items plus the green pendant out of Hera, and I think he still has maybe Spiral Cave to do, unless he did that first, which he might have.
I did see him go to Spiral Cave, if I remember correctly.
Alright, so he's essentially 3 item locations versus 3 item locations, and he's chosen this plus the green pendant over running all the way through the escape sequence again.
Yep.
Which makes sense.
Absolutely.
Mal's going to
half and hard.
That was a very near thing from Mike there, that blue male saving his bacon.
Yeah. MalXantholos going for his second crystal. Just entered Beast Town.
Still has no sword, but there are some alternative strategies using either the Cane of Samaria or the Hammer or both to kill this boss.
Mike did find the Cane of Burner. Setting up a bomb jump. I don't like doing that without a sword, but it worked.
I don't like doing that at all, but as you said, it worked.
And he's able to grab some hearts right here, because he did switch the switch.
That is a good switch to hit if you're going up, and well, you know, he was at half a heart at the time. It makes a whole lot of sense to go ahead and get that switch hit so that you can life back up before the boss. Not that Moldorm does a whole lot of damage, but, you know, once you get knocked off a couple of times, maybe you're in a little bit of pain.
Caster's Curse again.
Yes, it is. But unfazed, Mike is going to be right back at it.
He needs 3 hits with that hammer, because it does make tempered damage.
Tempered damage, just not the tempered hitbox.
Yeah. But his logical gloves. So
Now that's an interesting place for those gloves.
it
Because
is.
once Mike finds the flippers, he's very likely to eventually end up in that Zora area and get his mitts. With all of this Dark World access available to him, how long does it take Mal to go ahead and avail himself of Green Pendant Tower of Hera?
Yeah, yeah. And that's why those sequence breaks can be really, yeah, hard.
A double-edged sword for sure.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I wanted to say.
It's given him an advantage, but there's also that lurking disadvantage of we now know where the other glove is in the logical sequence, and he has reasons to be just about everywhere else right now. Thought for a moment we were going to see Mike just head for Pipe Cave like Mal did for his start of the Dark World, but no, he's going to go ahead and start in Village of Outcasts.
You will see a check on the big chest in Feast Town. I guess. Yeah.
With the hammer in hand, you don't really have to worry about it. You know, you see the small key and you think, well, I've got the hammer, so it's not as if this is a problem for me.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if we did see compass and or the map. So if we did
He's
not
found
find
his
any
first
of
model
them,
there.
so yep.
Some red potion in it, which is probably nice. Might make it a little easier to walk into this blind fight on the hammer and the cane of Samaria, because of course he still has no sword.
Going for Samaria strats.
I do like the Samaria strats over the hammer, if only because it lets you kind of dodge a little more freely.
Yeah. I don't like the hammer hitbox in this fight, so it's a good decision to take the Samaria, I guess. Yeah. That's finished blind, so it's his second crystal.
Taking a brief 2-1 Crystals lead here at 36 minutes. I expect we'll see Mike into the Thieves Town play momentarily, of course.
Yeah, and MalXantholos did not find any more progression since going into the Dark World, except of the bottle. But we know there is nothing interesting on this check.
He's going to go ahead and chain it in anyway, of course, and this is kind of the time to do it when you have the mirror.
Yeah. It's nice if you have the mirror in, at your first trip to the Dark World.
A lot of those mirror locations are near other things, but if you don't get to do those mirror checks while you're near those other things, coming back to all of them just becomes a real hassle.
Yeah. Suddenly they become off checks, and you don't like off checks. Oh, and the hookshot.
That's an interesting place for that hookshot for sure.
It's my favorite item in the game. I love the hookshot.
It's a nice one, especially when you're still looking for the boots. If you start to get a little mobility, like Mal showing us here, you can hook onto some trees, hook onto some bushes, hook onto some fences, and see if you can't, you know, gain a little movement edge.
Yep.
Mal sees that heart in K45 and says, I'm still on 6. Yes, please.
Yeah. I did have a race in the Challenge Cup where we had like, I think we had 8 hearts at the end with green mail. It almost felt like the main tournament. So, and there is the lantern.
So we have some logical dark rooms here now, and that puts Palace of Darkness fully in logic. Let's see, is Mal going to go ahead and flute 5? Yes, he is.
Going for Palace of Darkness, which is a good idea. High item density and the crystal, which he can finish. Still not on logic though, because he does not have flippers and did not find the other gloves in Tower of Hera.
I was about to follow down a very similar chain. If he sees something like the flippers in here, he has to know that he was not in the Dark World logically, and he did not have a whole lot of checks left.
Yeah.
How far down the illogical chain does he want to go before he actually goes back and gets the thing that's going to put him back into logic?
But what's good for him is that he has the hookshot. So if he goes to the mountain, he can do the Hera pot to find his gloves. But StructuralMike did forget the fake princess. Just remembered about her. Went back.
It's not boss shuffle, you do have to carry the maiden all the way to the boss room here. Mike picking up what is his second bottle there in the big chest of Thieves Town, and it seems, of course, as expected in Palace of Darkness, to have been just small keys so far for Mal.
Business as usual in this dungeon.
You have to find at least 4 smalls in these front 6 checks, and you can find as many as all 6. Now, 5 is uncommon, but not all that rare. 6 is a unicorn. I think I've seen it once in all of the games that I've played and commentated.
So, we'll see another blind find on the left side. Going for the hammer spreads, okay. There is a hammer script, but that's not as easy as the sword script, so...
The sword script takes most of the possibility of user error out of it. You have to be very precise to stay on script with the hammer.
Yeah. But a good fight, I'd say.
Down
So,
goes
2
blind for
crystals from both
StructuralMike.
sides.
Ties that crystal count right back up here at 2 at 41 minutes. And again, MalXantholos has only found small keys, is now making the bow side checks, finds red goo. And another small key, so as I was saying, 5 small keys in the front. Uncommon, but not rare, and that's what we've got today. Very nice use of the hook shot there by MalXantholos to take care of those hard hat beetles, to set that Samaria block where he wanted it and use it to flip the switch.
Yeah, solid play so far on both sides.
Speaking of that hook shot, StructuralMike is going to find it here in the next handful of digs. There it is.
And silvers in Palace of Darkness.
Silvers before so much as a single sword. Here we go,
Yeah.
Seed.
Wow.
Now our viewers can kind of hope that a sword doesn't appear for a little while longer, and maybe we get some interesting silver fights, like a Landmola is probably going to get used here on Helmasaur King.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure about that one. a terrible fight with hammer only, in my opinion. So pretty sure we'll see the silvers come in action.
Unfortunately, we do have to find a sword before we can use a medallion to get into Misery Mire, so we would have at least one sword for Vitreous, but silver arrows make that fight pretty free.
Yeah.
And it's just the boss left here in the Palace of Darkness for MalXantholos.
Yeah, and it will be his third crystal. So interested where he decides to go next. I think it'll be the mountain for him.
That is his next density play for sure.
Yeah, other locations would be a catfish or pyramid, but don't want to go to these objects, especially when you're not in logic at all. He must know that his logical progression is on the mountain, on the left side. So,
And he's really starting to run out of other things to do, so he's going to be forced up there here in the fairly near future. Seems pretty safe to say at this point that the mitts are going to be locking quite a bit away, although we do still have this outstanding green pendant turn-in that StructuralMike is about to show us.
yeah. It's just a red rupee. Wow!
That's not gonna do it, so yeah, our logical chain does seem to be go up to Hera to get that first glove for the Dark World access, and then the second glove. We're still going to have to find the flippers to make this all work.
Yeah. Possibly they are on the right side of the mountain.
I was honestly surprised not to see them come out of that green pendant turn-in.
Yeah, wouldn't be surprising, I think, but there are options on the mountain after killing Moldom, so I don't know.
Well, Mike had the
Spike
hammer and
Cave
he
is
went over.
absolutely in logic, to be honest.
Spike Cave, I think, is our remaining play here.
Catfish and Pyramid also, but those are free locations for flippers or something, which leads to the flippers. So third crystal for MalXantholos.
And if it is on one of those two locations in the kind of central to northeastern Dark World, Mal is leaving them behind in favor of the mountain at the moment.
Yeah, makes sense, I guess. He knows those are his only left locations, and Agina, I think he wasn't at Agina.
I believe he does still have a Gina on the table, yes.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see when Mike finishes up here. Oh, we do have an old man save. That's an interesting find.
Yeah.
I'd kind of forgotten because I'm so used to seeing runners just make that old man save in the dark that no, Mike did not do that at the time.
Yeah. And he won't go to the mountain in the near future because there are no checks left for him except of the Spike Cave.
If it's Spike Cave, we'll have to feel really bad for Mike. If it's, on the other hand, something like Flippers on Pyramid or Catfish, that is a really interesting out for him.
Yeah. Ooh, nice boomerang usage there.
That's a very clever strat. I don't know that I had seen that one before.
Me neither. But to be honest, boomerang is underused, I think.
And I will say, I think we've been seeing a lot of a really good quick swap usage from both of our runners here, flopping back and forth between items to take maximum advantage of the different things they can do within just a couple of quick swaps of each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lots of hookshot to bow, hookshot to boomerang and back, hookshot to bombs.
And I don't think we will see the bugnet come and play.
That seems to be unlikely.
And that was the first bottle for StructuralMike in Spiral Cave, which MalXantholos just got on his part. So 3 bottles on both sides.
Both runners within just 1 bottle of completing bottle percent, but well, that's not our victory condition today.
Yeah, nice spin speed there, taking the bomb on the stairs. Get a little bit of extra speed. I'm pretty sure that we will see the Hera play right now, Hera pot, so no worries about the big key for MalXantholos.
That's going to be interesting because it'll put a lot of what he's done already back into logic, but it's going to open up an entire slew of new checks that would be out of logic, and the mountain ones particularly are really readily accessible, so we're starting to wonder about the actual flipper location.
Yeah. Wants to kill that mini modem because it's just annoying when you want to do this Hera pot setup with spin speed. And
like moldworms everywhere, it's just happy to get in the way.
and he will know that big chest is empty after he defeated Moldom. There are no worries regarding any item left.
And again, we've got some of the simultaneous boss fights going on. Mike with the Helmus working is about halfway through phase 1, and Mal with the hammer on the worm. 3 hammers onto the worm, and away goes Moldworm 1.
So everything he did is back in logic right now. Except
aside from actually acquiring the second glove and Samaria, and was it Quake
but
the
dungeons he completed are absolutely in logic right now.
It is an interesting place to be as a runner, for sure.
It's a really interesting seed, I think.
It's given our runners a lot of options. They've chosen to do some very different things with those options. Makes for good viewing.
Yeah, it's great. And it seems like Mike is going for the Pyramid and Catfish.
Mike is running really low on logical checks here, so wanting to stay within the logic, these are kind of his next plays.
Yeah, and it's a bummer that he does not have these boots, so yeah. It feels so slow if you do it that way. but it's his best option right now.
There's not really a more convenient way to get over here, and at this point, I think we kind of have to expect flippers to show up in these next couple of checks, don't we?
Yeah.
Or, you know,
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything else we really have left that can lead to them. That, unless we get a couple of we could get a sword and have to do Aga, but you know we've already seen the powders, and there they are on the pyramid, so we can stop worrying about it.
Yeah.
And now he can carry that up into Catfish and the Zora play. He can do all of that logically, and he'll catch up on gloves. And then the question will be, is he going to flute to the mire area first and check that out? It's reasonably quick, but then getting back up onto the mountain in the near future makes a good amount of sense.
Yeah, but he can finish Ice Palace and Swamp Palace when he got his mids. So maybe that's his next destination.
It could be, and sooner or later we're going to have to start seeing some swords show up. If for no other reason, we have to find one before Mire becomes a logical dungeon. You can't activate a medallion without one.
Let's see, Spy Cave right now, and there is no half magic for MalXantholos. Oh, that's closed. I don't think he'll make it. Nope. Does he have a ferry? Nope.
He does not. There's that red cane and the Quake medallion and Waterfall for Mike. Going to going to skip that portal, go on up and make these other storage area checks. Going to be very happy to see those mitts.
Yeah, that's a close race right now. Still no sword.
Mire Shack, just a little old place filled with rupees today. 305.
You see a desert play right now. Will be his fifth crystal. Fourth. Sorry. Arrow was the green pendant.
Okay, so we're logically boots locked in desert at the very least. Now, if the big key is behind that small key, then we're 100% going to be looking for boots on Mike's side. And that's the guarantee. Mike is going to have to find those boots to beat this seed.
Absolutely, yeah.
And Skunkner, you've called it. Mike is going to go ahead and take those flippers and head directly for Swamp Palace.
I think Ice Palace would be a good choice too before going to Swamp, because it's quicker to finish, and yeah, maybe you can skip left side Swamp then, but on the other hand, there is no sword and you have to do a hammer fight. So maybe that's the reason why he's going for Swamp before Ice Palace.
Mike with that fire rod in hand would at least have a few fire rod shots to try and make that cold stair fight a little easier if that's the direction he wanted to go with it. But yeah, I think this is probably a play to try and go with the meme. There's always a sword in Swamp, right? By the time I get out of here, I should have at least one sword in hand. Mal showing us a little game knowledge in these past couple of rooms with those two small magic decanters he found, just enough to use the fire rod to light those torches.
Will he get the zero cycle? Looks good. Yeah.
Very nicely executed. That's going to put another crystal in his hand.
Next destination NMG runner, I guess.
Well, that would be an easy boss in NMG if they'd let you have the silvers for
Yeah.
it.
It's a terrible fight with the arrows. I tried it a couple of times. I'm not an NMG runner, but at least I wanted to try it, and I think it's just horrible. So
I'm not
much
an NMG
respectful.
runner either, but I do run the practice hack every once in a while as kind of a boss rush mode, and it tends to be okay. I'll get the first one in a couple of cycles, and then the other two will be alive for 5, 7, 9 cycles. Yeah, it's very, very impressed by anybody who can actually do that fight with the regular arrows in a timely manner.
I think we did find both dungeon items in Swamp, but I'm not entirely sure, so I think there are 2 items on the left side.
Mike's going to go ahead and rush the boss anyway, which makes some sense. He does know that it's a crystal boss that he needs to beat the game anyway. And MalXantholos going to tie in the Sagina check with his desert play, is rewarded with that heart, is up to 12 now.
Really interesting race.
Yeah, it is, and this is going to be kind of an unfortunate fight for StructuralMike. It's faster if you have at least one sword here, and even if it's just the fighter sword, to double spin these puffs rather than continue to get into and out of the menu.
Yeah.
But all he has for this phase 1 is the hammer to go along with the hookshot, so we're going to see Menu Simulator.
Menuing fight is just terrible.
So let's see, it looks like Mal's going to give us a look here at Bumper Ledge, just a piece of heart.
Yeah,
Probably going to be clearing out all of these Northern Dark World bonk and mirror checks.
good decision. There are a couple of checks do, and he can also go to Catfish if he wants to water walk or quern jump.
These are going to be the interesting choices that are going to determine whether or not Mal is going to give a lot of time back to Mike, because those flippers on Pyramid, if he goes ahead and does some kind of a splash deletion or kern jump to get to the Catfish here, if he does not then go down to Pyramid, I don't know when he ever gets back for that check.
Yeah, absolutely. So Argus will go down in a couple of seconds.
Silver Arrow making phase 2 ever so much faster than phase 1.
So, things soon.
That is Mike evening that crystal count back up. They both have 4 plus the green pendant now.
Yeah. Yeah, and Mike is in a better position, I guess, because these the flippers. Mal is going for ground jump, I guess. No, it's yeah, it's a ground jump.
Just using the silver arrow to get the Hinox out of the way.
Well done,
And
well done.
very excellently first try kern jump. Wonderful execution to see there from Mal.
And I think he's going for Pyramid after Catfish, because he knows it's an absolutely isolated check for him. Otherwise, there is no better way to check that one.
I'm not sure if it's technically faster to save and quit back to the house and get into the Dark World there to go to Pyramid than it is to run back from Catfish, but either way, it's a check that he has entirely orphaned if he does not decide to check it right after this Catfish play.
Going for the Smith chain, I guess.
Alright, that's another way to at least get into the area. Now, logically, this could not possibly be the flippers for him since you need both of the gloves to do this. But it could still turn up something like a sword, which both of our runners desperately desire at 1 hour and 4 minutes into this seed.
Yeah.
And noting that we are a little over 1 hour into the seed, this is a good time to remind everybody who's watching, if you're enjoying the Game 2 action that Mal and Mike have decided that they're going to allow to be restreamed for you, go ahead and give them a follow. They had a great Game 1, they're having a great Game 2. Please, by all means, go show them a little love in their own chats once this one's over. I am MindDM, my co-com today is Skunkner, and our trackers, Tomaltak and Scottish Brave. Siberian doing yeoman's work, pulling the technical side of this restream together.
We've got
And,
a swamp,
hey.
by the way. On
Yeah,
Mike's
well-
side. Left side swamp it was.
Surprise, surprise! Always a sword in a swamp, as the saying goes. And red mail there on the Smith chain. Mal with the flute to 5, this should finally be the play to Pyramid to put all of these shenanigans he's been doing ever since that very early splash deletion for an out-of-logic glove. Hold all of his seed asunder in various ways, but he'll return to logic here in the next minute or two, hopefully.
Of course, first checking for hand, which is garbage, but
I'm just as surprised this time as I was last that wasn't actually where the flippers were. That kind of felt like what the seed wanted, but no, just go to the Pyramid.
And by the way, I guess we are in go mode if we find another sword on StructuralMike's side.
Well, Mike is going to have to find
The boots, yeah. Oh.
and Mal's going to have to find 2 swords.
Yeah.
Mike about to get the bad news about this hard boots lock.
Mirror bonk, but I get sides go for Swamp Palace also. Oh. Getting potions, yeah.
Quick stop off for potions when you're probably in ice play if you want potions. You'd be a little less concerned about it going into Swamp Palace without a sword, but yeah, ice is one of those in-game dungeons you'd really like to be able to defend yourself, and if you can't, picking up some safeties before you go there makes a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess he wants to play the Ice Rod. It's a much nicer fight than compared to doing it with the hammer. So more magic is much appreciated.
Yeah, MalXantholos saw that half magic on the race game and decided, nope, I'm good, and then later fake powdered and could have chosen to go and get it then to refill the magic bar and have the additional safety of half magic and said, nope, I'm still good.
Yeah, and Mike is also getting those potions, probably preparing for his Ice Palace play.
Preparing for ice also has that ether medallion, and we've seen that that is the entry requirement for Meyer, so that could be a play here in the near future. Since, of course, he's already found a sword and can actually activate medallions and go into these dungeons.
Yep.
From Mike's perspective, he would love to see 2 swords in Meyer. And then the last one somewhere silly, like on a tablet or something.
Yeah, the question is, when does he get his boots? So it's a quick check, but will he go there? I don't know.
The difficulty on his side is getting there before going ahead and clearing out these crystal dungeons that, you know, aside from desert, he can just do. I mean, he has everything that he needs to beat both ice and Meyer. It's just he's walking everywhere and not otherwise acquiring go mode. If he acquires one more sword, then he knows he's just looking for the boots, but he has to keep checking everything until he finds them.
Yeah.
MalXantholos finding a bit of a just-in-time big key there in the chest right above the big chest.
Yeah. Will we see a IST room check? Nope. I'm not sure if we did find all of the items.
If he didn't, it's an interesting gamble, being that he's still in I have no swords mode.
Yeah.
Going to use not 1 but 2 blues to get maximum fire rod here, rather than try to play around with this fight with the hammer, which is not always the most fun thing in the world.
StructuralMike is going for IST room, so we'll find out what's in that chat. Oh, it's okay. It's just a key.
That is another crystal again on the board for MalXantholos. Is up to 5 crystal dungeons cleared now, and going to go ahead and make the swamp play. This is going to be crystal number 6. Also, there's a sword tucked away in here for him. He just has to go find it.
Yeah, he needs a sword to open up Meyer, so I'm pretty sure he will check for left side swamp. Because his options are, yeah, very limited at this time of the race.
Without the sword, not even able to get into Turtle Rock to make checks. So while there are those Dark Mountain items in Hookshot Cave and Super Money available, that's really the only other things he has to look forward to up there.
Yeah, clean fight for Mike here at Cold Stare. Well
Taking
done.
good advantage of that Fire Rod splash damage, and the half magic just gets the job done.
Yeah.
And ties that crystal count right back up, albeit temporarily. He still has 1 more crystal he can complete in the Misery Mire, but Mal is already in a crystal dungeon that he can complete in Swamp. So our runner's still putting on the show, not quite syncing up just yet.
Yeah, and there is the Maya play we talked about. Not surprising, but the boss fight is okay with the silver arrows, but imagine he would not have those. Be a terrible fight with fighter sword only.
At that point, you do something like go buy the upgrade fairy and buy yourself a whole bunch of bombs to try and soften those little eyeballs up, and then go to town with the regular arrows. If you have no bow at all, it's really just kind of an ugly, long, slow slog of a fight.
Yeah. It's so scary.
If you're very deliberate about your fight, the first maybe half of the hammer fight on the small eyes is kind of okay, but as you kill more of those small eyes off, they start coming out at you more and more quickly, and it can be really difficult to continue dodging them.
Yeah. And they do a whole lot of damage, even to a blue male wearing Link. So yeah. Not my favorite fight. MalXantholos is going for the boss, or making left side swamp. So he has to do the menuing fight too.
Again, just hoping to run into the things he's looking for on the way. Mike has found the first of 2 items in Misery Mire, and it's just a piece of heart. And MalXantholos getting the bad news that there are not just 1 but 2 items tucked away on left side swamp still, plus 1 in the big chest. When you know you've left 3 behind, it's a lot easier to come back in.
Yeah, absolutely, but as I said, his options are very limited right now, so I'm pretty sure he would have gone there anyway, even if it was just 2 checks, or 1 maybe. Ooh, nice.
I didn't know that worked.
Me neither. Wow. I'm speechless.
And now he's out of magic and going to have to go to the menu strats anyway. Once again, if MalXantholos has decided at some point that he wanted to go ahead and avail himself of that free, open, easy, in-sight half magic, he could have continued with that quick swap play with the fire rod to take care of these buffs.
And we'll see cutscene chest right now. Probably one of the most annoying checks in this game.
It just feels slow. It's not too terrible with the fire rod. Trying to finagle it all with the lamp is a little more difficult. There's that silver arrow into the main dome of Argus there from MalXantholos, going to pick up yet another crystal. That is 6 crystals in hand there for MalXantholos at 1 hour and 16 minutes and change.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Mike did find the big key in the cutscene chest. He decides to check the big chest.
In some ways it feels better when it's the big key in its vanilla location there in Mire. At least you know that your opponent has to suffer through the exact same pain. It's not like I've done this and not actually gotten anything out of it. Instead, it's I've done this and it was 100% required to clear the dungeon.
Yeah. Big chest. The chest was empty. Just a dungeon item. So last item should be on Viti.
Welcome to our raiders from Zelda Speedruns. Zelda Speedruns and a party of 69. Nicely done. You are joining in progress a Link to the Past Randomizer Challenge Cup match. This is a round of 16 matchup between StructuralMike and MalXantholos. MalXantholos currently leads this series 1-0 in a best of 3.
Yeah, and Mike does need the boots to finish Desert Palace, which MalXantholos did find at the Lost Old Man.
And we still don't have eyes on a second sword, and both of our runners are going to need 2 swords at a bare minimum to damage Ganon.
Yeah, but I think at this point you're searching for the second slot in GT. There goes Witty.
Blinking, you missed the Silver Arrows Vitreous fight. Mike just going to go ahead and blast Silver Arrows into every eyeball and make them all go away.
And there is the sword for MalXantholos. So, only a second sword needed for go mode for MalXantholos. And I'm pretty sure you'll go for Misery Maya right now. And StructuralMike is going for the Red Bomb. Pyramid Ferry.
It is an interesting point of access there. You know, we could still see a sword or two here.
Yeah.
While since Mal is still looking for that second sword, likely to see most, at least, of the checks here in Misery Mire. The big key is vanilla, so not really going to be able to get away with a lot of skipping here.
I'm really interested in the Pyramid Ferry checks. Wouldn't be surprising to see at least one sword right there.
That's about the only thing we have outstanding that it could be. I guess from Mike's perspective, we really don't want him to see the book here, although I guess that could lead him back up the mountain with the ether tablet.
Yeah. Yeah, but maybe something like Skullwoods or Purple Rock or Inside GT. We don't know. What we know is that we need that Master Sword. He's going to get his boots.
This is really good for Mike. He's going to be able to flute back down to the desert area. Given that Mal still has to sit through the cutscene here, we're going to be reasonably close on our 2 runners picking up their 7th crystals, and then it's going to be down to a sword hunt. And as you were saying just a minute or 2 ago, I expect we're going to see the hunt for that sword begin primarily in Ganon's Tower.
We are back to having a race. If he did skip the old man or be going here later, then I think it'd be impossible to get back. But right now, this decision, we're pretty close.
This was the play that Mike needed to make right when he needed to make it to make this a race.
Absolutely.
And we have in chat Tyler Salt mentioning that this is going to be his saltiest moment of the match. Mike finding the boots on the old man.
And now MalXantholos knows he has to go for a cutscene chest. And I think he will skip the big chest and going straight for Witty.
That's entirely
gambling
possible.
on those thoughts in GT.
Yeah, when Mike was in here, he was still 2 from go because he was looking for a sword and boots. Looking for only a sword, I think it makes more sense for Mal to try and skip the big chest here and gain
Yeah.
more time.
Yeah, because he knows there are 3 more swords in the pool. And the check for the big chest is pretty slow. Free swords on laser bridge would be my humor, absolutely. I'd love
No,
to see
Scottish
that.
Brave, let's go one better. How do you feel about second sword required 100% on Trinex?
And the other swords on the tablets, great.
Sword on tablet, a sword on pedestal would also work since you would have to clear Trinex to get it. Mike is absolutely flying through the back of Desert Palace here.
Yeah, so Mike will get his 7th crystal in just a couple of seconds. Going for the fire rod strats. Yeah, and 7th crystal for Mike.
Now here we are on ZSR. We played the game a little differently. You can get your bets in as to which of the 22 possible locations in the basement of Ganon's Tower that our runners are going to find this big key today. It looks like Mike is going to be the first one up there, so we'll use his count today. Skunkner, do you have any particular preferences to your big key locations?
Yeah, I love the 3, because I love the torch. So hopefully there is no small key on the right side and big keys on the torch. That's my number to go, my location to go.
That's a fun one.
You have a favorite?
I don't really have a favorite, but I feel like more often than not it's just tucked away in the middle somewhere, so I'll guess 11. Anywhere in that kind of 9 to 15 range just feels like where that key ends up more often than not. And our tracker, Scottish Brave, making a very good point. If you find the big key early, how much more do you do in the basement looking for the sword?
Yeah. Good point. And MalXantholos gets dead rocked here.
It is in the nature of Dead Rocks to not cooperate. Mike going to go ahead and check the 2 chests here in Super Bunny. Finds the cape, but not a sword. He was climbing the mountain anyway, it was kind of on the way. It just takes 6 or 7 seconds to make those 2 checks while you're running on through.
Yeah. What's really annoying is for MalXantholos that he does not have that half magic. And if they have to play a master sword, I think having half magic and 3 bottles is a huge advantage together with the cape.
And that was a choice that he made, so, we'll see if that comes back to his advantage or to his disadvantage. Also,
Yeah.
yes, regarding the sword play, how deeply do you delve in GT for sword, or do you just go to Catfish? Well, we're not going to be going to Catfish today. Our runners have both checked it. So we have Mike into the tower at 1 hour, 27 minutes, and 18 seconds. And Mal is hot on his heels here, is going to be coming in just about 12 seconds later, it looks like, maybe 15.
Mike is skipping Hope Room. So torch was 1.
And MalXantholos is going to do Hope Rooms, so we have GT Divergence, and this could in fact decide the match. They were just 15 seconds apart getting into the tower.
What a race.
All the twists, all the turns, the earlier boots for Mal, the earlier sword for Mike, and yet 15 seconds is all that separates these two runners entering the tower, and there is StructuralMike finding the big key in double firebar room. Now our runners are in sword mode.
Wow.
Mal checking Compass Room has found the map in Compass Room.
No
the rest
sword
of it,
at all, so
no
right
sword
side
at all.
was absolutely unnecessary. Wow.
So MalXantholos being forced to the left here is now behind StructuralMike, was already behind 15 seconds going into the tower, but as long as Mike pulls a sword out of here before being forced over to the right side to look for that before climbing the tower, you know, he has a gamble he can make here,
Yeah.
and there is a second sword in Rando Room, checks the last chest just in case, but 2 swords is all you need to beat the game, and StructuralMike go mode at 1 hour 29 minutes and 18 seconds.
Wow.
Hang on to your hats, folks, because here comes the Execution Festival.
Absolutely. I'm pretty sure both of them will check for more swords in the climb, but yeah.
I would think at the very least the left-hand side check in the mini Helmasaur room and the ultimate chest of the game there after Moldorm 2. The other two may be a little more out of the way, but we'll see. We have Mike up into the gauntlet now, going to take advantage of that hook shot to try and make the Stalkos a little easier to deal with. They tend to like to jump away when you just slash at them. Also going to go for Ether Strats in the 3 Stalkos room, just kind of makes them all go poof.
Yeah, and MalXantholos will find his go mode item right now.
Also going to make that just-in-case check of the last chest in the room, but that's go mode for MalXantholos at 1 hour 30 minutes and 50 seconds. Mike getting more than a little bullied in the last couple of the rooms here of the tower climb, but he does have some potions that he can take advantage of. This red, which was not doing him any good up until now, is going to go ahead and refill the hearts.
Nice and clean fight here at land mode 2.
Was maybe a hair high on the third one, did manage to clear it up on that very first cycle. Like in some of the more satisfying rooms of the game where you have the Cane of Samaria and you just lay down a block and make all of the Wizrobes go away. Mike going to take a couple of seconds there, make sure that he does not jingle glitch. If you go up those stairs on the exact same frame that the chime goes off for the door, you'll despawn the entire tower and you get to start your climb all over again. You have to mirror out and start again. Not where he wants to be in his life right now.
Yeah. And that really happened more than once, even in this tournament, so yeah.
There was at least one main tournament runner in the current main tournament who managed to do that. So it happens to the best of us.
Yeah, I think there were 2 games where that happened in the main tournament, and I know about 2 in the Challenge Cup. So, yeah, that's a possibility.
Mike
Not
taking
anymore
an
for Mike,
unfortunate
but
fall there. Got a little bumped off by the mold arm. Is going to have to go back around for try number 2.
and that's time that MalXantholos needs. Getting closer.
Mike still has an advantage, but you know, with every second that creeps by, he's thinking, my opponent can dot done any second now. I'm in danger, and these falls are not helping him.
Absolutely.
Going to take it very safe there with a spin for the final hit, having that sword out to try to fend off the worm a little bit. Gets Moldorm 2 down. Going to check the ultimate chest of the game, which just has its vanilla value today. MalXantholos checking the right-hand chest as well as the left-hand one in that mini-Helmer room. Finds a 5er, not another sword.
Yeah, that's close race here. And there is no sword, so we will have a Master Sword fight for MalXantholos 2. Being all on fight. The really good Aga 2 fight.
There, but yeah, that was a very clean Aga 2 from StructuralMike. The pig has appeared, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, rando fans of all ages. StructuralMike is heading out to making some bacon.
Yeah, so we will know in a couple of minutes if we will have a third match between those two competitors.
And we're seeing some Samaria spin strats from Mike here. This is a very nice little bit of tech. You can get a little extra damage in when you've got the Master Sword. And Mal, with an equally clean and easy Aga 2 fight, is going to be just moments behind into the fight with Ganon.
Yeah, that Samaria block produces lag, as you can see. But it's worth it, I guess, with the Master Sword, getting double spins. Nice strats.
Exceptionally clean on Mike's side. This is a joy to watch.
Yeah. It's some high quality gameplay. MalXantholos also going for the... just one time again.
We have MalXantholos into Phase 2, but StructuralMike is now 3/4 of the way through Phase 3, now entering Phase 4. Ganon announces that silvers are in fact his one true weakness. Mike is going to go ahead and get this torch glitch. It can be a little finicky to get the silver hits in with these spins. Ooh, that fire bat was not having any of him.
It was scary.
That's 2 silvered hits in for StructuralMike, and 3 just needs 1 more to polish this one off, as MalXantholos appears to still be in Phase 2. Those spins with the Samaria absolutely proved true for StructuralMike. All he has to do is wait out this fanfare and cross the bridge.
Yeah, and that's a GG, I guess.
It's over. We have a Game 3. Get your GGs in chat for StructuralMike, who has finished first place in this race with a time on Racetime GG of 1 hour, 37 minutes, and 32 seconds.
It was a solid race there from both of our runners.
We'll see MalXantholos now into phase 4 is going to go ahead and clean this fight up. Again, maybe a little low on hit points, is going to be safe picking his spots for getting these spins in to turn Ganon silver.
Yeah, one more hit and Ganon is history.
And
Just
that will
needs to
do.
cross that bridge and it's GG for MalXantholos.
MalXantholos crossing the bridge with a second place time of 1 hour, 38 minutes, 58 seconds. Good game, a wonderful play by both of our runners today. Absolutely close, everything we hoped for after that first game that we did not get to see a restream of, and has set us up for a Game 3. Yes, Game 3 coming tomorrow. But first, we have both MalXantholos and StructuralMike joining us here in the booth. Good game to you both.
GG's. Thank you. That was quite a race.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, it was really a really good race. It was going back and forth all the way, all the time, and changing the leader all over the place. It was just a really good race to watch. GG's to both of you.
Yeah, there's so much to think about when it comes to this scene. First of all, I totally lost it when I found my boots, of course, because who doesn't check boots, check the old man the first time they're up on the mountain? But apparently we both delayed that, so that's why I still had a chance. I just kept imagining not having boots for an hour, and that was the end of me.
Yeah, I pretty much thought the same about those boots.
Mal did have those boots earlier, but the interesting bit was you had different first gloves. Mal, would you like to talk a little bit about that play that you made into the Zora area early on?
Yeah, well, I did a splash deletion to get those gloves there, and I really thought that flippers were in some early place, and that those gloves were considered by Seed as the first logical access to Dark World. And yeah, when I found those mids on Moldom, I was really surprised back then.
Yeah, I was thinking about that location because it was really unattractive for you to check that one, but you did go for Moldom, so it wasn't that bad, but could have been better, I guess, if you would have known that the gloves are there, because your sequence break was huge. It was crazy to keep track about your logical options you had left.
I actually did a mistake later when I was looking for flippers and started to do a Smith train, and yeah, I realized very soon that this was no place to find flippers, of course, with gloves being locked behind flippers. So that probably lost me like a minute or so. But at least I got 10 hours or something like that from Smith.
10 hours for 10 rupees. That makes sense. Yeah, when I found the myths, I imagined that you potentially had gotten them first, and you would have been able to be much more efficient on the mountain once you found the second pair of gloves on Moldon. And my early game was a bit clowny, I feel. I fluted up to the mountain before I did Dam and Agina, and that's why I left Moldon. I save quit after the Paradox Cave, and Then I had to come back, climb again, and then I forgot Spike Cave after Moldorm. So I just thought, well, let's do that later. Same with Old Man, and turned out all right in the end. And why no swords? Where are the swords? Second scene in a row where I spent over an hour with no sword, or justify the sword.
I was going to bring up a very similar question. Those sword locations were not the most generous, and you two both found the same swords, so we don't know where the other two are.
Yeah, imagine Third Rock. Or did you? Because I didn't check the whole of GT because I went full left. So maybe there was one in Compass Room, unless you checked that, Mel.
I did try the right side first.
Oh yeah. I just went full left because I was expecting to full clear the basement, and full left is the most efficient. And got lucky, I guess. Saved some time there.
Yeah, I went full right, or not full right, but into Compass Room because I was hoping for an early big key, maybe in right side, and then if I do left side, I can open big chest for a sword.
Yeah.
That was my thought process behind that decision.
Yeah, that makes sense too. Oh. No swords. So awkward, the whole race. I didn't sign up for Swordless. It's not my thing.
Mine neither. 7 swordless dungeons, and this was my second Master Sword hunt in this tournament.
Oh, wow.
But the last one was even worse, to be honest.
And the other thing I thought about was the escape part was like surprisingly bombless. Because I checked both my freeze hammer price and my stun price, and both those packs, and no bombs anywhere to be seen. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's a cool race. Very close race as expected. I was shitting myself the whole way up to Aghanim 2, eyeing the race room and like, nope, I still got time.
Usually I close the timer when I enter GT just because I really don't want to see anything about the race content. Just makes me nervous.
Yeah, exactly. Oh.
Yeah, but it was really a nice race. And then I think also a good seat to watch.
Definitely.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I imagine it gets tense at points when you have no swords and all of these weird locations you have to go to get progression. Oh.
Yeah. It, like I said, was a really, really, really great race. Fun to watch, fun to commentate, and I think if you have time, which to VOD, it was really, really exciting.
It was a great deal of fun. I enjoyed every minute of it, looking forward to that Game 3, which is tomorrow at the same bat time, I do believe.
Yes, it is.
Oh yeah. I need to rest my stressed out brain. So it's, because Mal actually was the first one to give me a lose, and in this challenge cup, I've been lucky up till now to not have any losses at all, which was surprising to me. Like, I'm not saying I'm greater than all of the races in challenge cup, but it really got to me yesterday. Like, oh shit, I lost, and
well, I tried twice.
Pressure was on. You did, yeah. I mean, it's always been close with most of the competition, and somehow it's been going all right. But now it's getting really, really, really tough for me, and I expect tomorrow to be even harder.
Well, I don't expect you're going to find any more easy outs in this tournament. Once you get down to a round of 16, everybody left is a strong runner.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Mike and Mal, any final thoughts from either of you heading into this pivotal and deciding Game 3 tomorrow?
Just give me some swords, man. That's my thought.
I 100% agree. And maybe boots in a nicer location.
Yeah, nicer boots or no boots at all. You know, not this, not this.
No boots at all. I always fears them to me. Maybe the one check I didn't do.
Yeah. Like old man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
but I'm really looking forward to our third race. It's going
yeah,
to be
me too. And much appreciated for the commentating by the guys and people and the tracking and the restream and everything. It's so much fun.
Yeah, thank you both so much for agreeing to come out and be restreamed to put on the show for everybody. I'll go ahead and run down the list here really quick. MalXantholos and StructuralMike are runners today. I am MindDM. I was joined on comms by Skunkner. Our trackers for this match were Scottish Brave 44 and Tomeltalk 13. And Siberian was doing that yeoman's work behind the scenes, making sure that all of the technical things worked for the restream. Thank you all so much, and thank you, chat, for coming out, giving us an hour and 40 minutes of your time on this Saturday afternoon, evening, whatever it was for you. With that, Skunkner, any final words from you?
Yeah, thanks for having me, and thanks for putting up such a great match, you both runners. And I'm really thrilled for your third match, and I will definitely watch that one.
100%, it should be a great one. It is going to be tomorrow. With that, I'm going to turn this back over to Siberian for a few programming notes on the Zelda Speedruns channel. Siberian, please take it away.
Yeah, and before we rate to see Highwind, who is playing A Link to the Past render right now, I'm not sure what kind of seed you will get. Short preview on what's up next here on the SR. At 6 PM EDT, we have our Ocarina of Time Randomizer Standard Weekly for NA. At 8 PM EDT, we have a Twilight Princess Any Percent match. It's the Grand Finals Game 2. Then we have on our list, but not sure if we have a restream for it, at 8:30 PM Eastern, a Wind Waker Randomizer Challenge Cup match. And at 10 PM also a Wind Waker Randomizer Challenge Cup match. Then for tomorrow we have again Ocarina of Time Randomizer Standard Weekly for EU. A Wind Waker, then the weekly for Wind Waker Randomizer. Bi-weekly again this week? Okay. And okay, you forgot the times again. The Ocarina of Time is at 9 AM Eastern. The Wind Waker Weekly is 3 PM Eastern. And the Minish Cap Randomizer Weekly is at 3:30 Eastern. That covers our weekend so far. And then only left for me to say is thank you very much for watching. See you next time here on ZSR.